Welcome to another episode of In My Bag with Backpack Jeff, where we connect with ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And today, y'all, I got a very special guest with us. I have Miss Shatoya, the career strategist. How are you this morning?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Life has been going extremely well. I congratulations to you on the new business endeavor. Well, probably not new, but you just moved like fully into it, correct?
Yes. It's not new. It's newer as in launch to the people, but it's something I've been doing for years, so I'm super excited about it as well.
Okay, well, let's get right into it. I don't want to. I don't want the have to let the people wait. I want to get straight in my bag. All right, so let's talk about it. So, tell me a little bit about how you became a career strategist, and what exactly is a career strategist?
Absolutely. So, a career strategist is someone that helps people walk through their career journey, helps them to identify what it is that they have interest in and helps them to kind of solidify the right career for them. How I got into it really is just my own personal journey, like why I started the business, all of that is like most businesses. You start something because you have a passion for it, or either you see that there's a need or something that's a problem that you want to fix. And so it was all of those things actually for me. Starting out in my career, I was the first in my family to do a lot of things. And so I have that mentorship or things that I needed to help me continue on my career. So I had to figure a lot of things out on my own. And so that's really just how I got started. And I want to be that for someone else that needs that support. So.
Absolutely, I absolutely love that. That's a lot of the reason why I got into what it is that I'm doing now in the coaching entrepreneurial space is because I saw something that we didn't have access to. I was able to gain the knowledge and the information, and now I want to be able to give that back. So tell me, is there an age range that this works well for, or that you prefer, or are you working with any age range currently?
So the age range would definitely be working professionals. So probably somewhere between 18 to 65, depending on what their career goals are. If, there are people that start new careers all the time, they
Right.
pivot into new positions and things of that nature. So really just working professionals, more specifically, Black and Brown professionals.
Okay. I love
Mhm.
it. So when you one of the things that I come across a lot in the speaking as I go out and I go into different colleges and high schools and stuff like that is a lot of the kids they say they don't know what they want to do. So let's say you have that working professional age. Let's say they're 20 years old. They haven't gone to school because they don't even know what they would even want to major in. How do you
Yes.
begin to help them explore what their career path should be?
That's a great question. I think we all go through that. Even those who do decide to go to college, we all go through that. Like in our mind, okay, this seems like a good fit, but I really don't know until I get into the trenches of it, right? And so, how you really figure that out is just you really do have to explore you. You have to know who you are. And a lot of us don't know that at 18 and 20 years old, which is really messed up because we do go off to college and make these really grand decisions thinking we do want to do it. And then we get into it for years and then it's like, okay, this ain't it. And so, really how to explore that is really just, I would say getting as much experience as possible. During the high school years, there are some schools that require, internships and volunteerism. All of that, I would say definitely take advantage of it because then you can figure out whether it's a good experience or bad. You can figure out if this is for me, this is something that I love to do, or this just ain't for me. I always say that every experience you learn something, whether good or bad, you say, oh, this is wonderful, this is something I want to continue on with, or you're like, okay, that ain't it, that was my lesson, right? If it was a bad experience or not, you still say, hey, that was a lesson, thank you. So you just really need to explore you and what your likes, your interests are. And then, if you can tap into people who are in those fields, that's another way to do it too. Shadowing someone. People love to do that. Like they love to take the opportunity to say, hey, why don't you come, work with me for a day or come see what it's like here.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's great advice, sound advice, definitely in my bag moment. One of the things that I learned throughout my process is that in helping people, if you don't know what it is that you want to do, find out what it is that you don't want to do.
That's
Because
good
once
too.
you find out what it is that you don't want to do, you're one step closer to finding out what it is that
It
you
is
want to
so
do.
true.
Process of elimination. And so what I did was I took little pieces of it. Like I like this part of the job, but I didn't really like that part of the job.
That's
So and
right.
then from taking little pieces of everything that I've been in, it has allowed me to say, okay, this is exactly what I do because it gives me everything that I would like
Right.
to do. freedom, totality, financial freedom, all of those different kind of things, move into those things. So tell me, so what's the name of the brand, the business?
So it's called iGrow Lab. And
Okay.
so it's around everything related to personal and professional growth. And so the mission behind it is to amplify and empower the voices of historically overlooked communities as it relates to the journey towards career growth, leadership development, and workplace success or workplace, a workplace successful workplace experience.
So
So.
this is perfect, right? Because I'm in the midst right now of creating different training programs. Do you do training like corporate trainings, anything like that, professional development?
So at this moment, I'm offering coaching experience one on one for those who are looking to basically elevate within the workplace. You know, if they're looking to pivot or try something new, that's another coaching experience that I'm offering as well. And then most importantly, I think this is one is hits home for me is those who are experiencing not so great work experiences, so navigating challenging working experiences. And so I feel like that's kind of an experience or things that people don't necessarily want to touch because it is a negative experience and people just don't know what to do. But I've had the background in HR and then this working in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I've also worked for the Department of Labor dealing with complaints and things of that nature. So it all helps me to tie everything in and be able to support people who have had bad experiences, who can to teach them how to advocate for themselves and not put up with some of the things that people have to deal with at work. So.
I definitely understand you. I was at a event maybe about 2 weekends ago, and they were talking about harassment and different things like that at the business. And one of the comments that they said, which really stuck out to me, was that HR is for the business, not for the employee. How do you feel about that?
So let me tell you, I have to tell you, in my experience, that has been absolutely true. That a lot of people, a lot of HR professionals forget. Yes, you are responsible for the overhead. You're responsible to make sure that the business does not come across liability or anything like that. But you're also responsible for the people, right? And so I feel like that people part is the part that a lot of HR professionals they forget, right? And so if you don't have people, you can't get the work done. You can't drive the business goals. And so I feel like, in my experience, yes, that has been the case, but there is another part of that. So.
Okay, I love it. So now if you're encouraging someone to advocate for themselves, what are some things that people can do to advocate for themselves? Or I guess like what's that teaching process look like in regards to people advocating for themselves?
I would say first things first, the one thing that I come across is that folks they don't necessarily keep track or keep a record of the things that they're experiencing at work. They can kind of like anecdotally say like, oh, like a couple of months ago, so and so said something like this. Like if you are coming down to the point where it's really terrible and you need to file a complaint, the first thing they're going to ask you are details of the events, right? You got to be able to say that on November 1st, my manager said blah blah blah, right? So being able to advocate for yourself is being able to have a record of the things that you're experiencing.
Okay, definitely. So listen, y'all. Listen, she's giving y'all some game right now, right? Like keep record of what it
Yeah,
is. So do you
right.
recommend in this, right, teaching people how to advocate for themselves, I imagine there's going to be some portion of conflict resolution, right? They need to know how to resolve conflicts. Okay. What are some of the best ways to resolve workplace conflicts?
That is a great question. And I think, all a part of the advocating process is developing that confidence, right? And so we don't all come out the gate with having the confidence to say and do what we need to say. And that's a part of the coaching process is being able to, get the client to the point where they do have the confidence to speak up for themselves. And so I think in order to avoid not necessarily avoid workplace conflict, but more of like a preventative measure is to be open, right? Establish that open communication from the beginning, right? Just because that's your supervisor or your manager, it doesn't mean that you don't have a voice, right? You do have a voice, and it may be a different type of voice based on environment. But once they know that the type of employee you are, you need to establish that from the beginning, right? Listen, this is what I understand the expectations to be. Is that clear? Is that right? Like having that open dialogue, being not being afraid to just talk about what the expectations are, right? But also holding yourself accountable to do the work that you're asked to do or that you knew you signed up for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask you, in regards to the coaching program, is it for like 3 months, 12 months, 6 months? Is it extended? Is it,
Yeah.
how does that process work? How does the coaching work?
Right. So I have different levels of service, and so sometimes I have a career audit, which is basically an hour conversation to kind of give someone some tips to kind of go about the process of figuring out which direction that they want to go, and then the coaching service itself is about 30 days. Um, 30 days of us connecting, us working through different processes and scenarios. And so the reason why I do the one-on-one coaching is because everybody's experience is different. Every culture is different, and so we have to tailor that to that person and that experience and what it is they're hoping to do.
Okay. And so with the one-on-one, how often are you meeting with them? Is it multiple times a week, an hour a week, or is that based off of the package that you get?
It is based off the package, but the goal is typically to meet once a week and just kind of go over some strategies and goals and make sure that we're meeting our deadlines, meeting our goals, and the things that we want to accomplish.
Okay. Now, is this something that can be done virtually, like we're doing here today? Does it have to be in person? Like,
No,
what
it doesn't
does
have to
that
be in
look
person. It's virtually. That way we can connect regardless, because life happens, and I know that the pandemic was a really tough time for a lot of people. But the one thing we did was we learned how to work in different ways, and so that the virtual option is definitely the case for this particular coaching process.
I definitely agree. The pandemic has taught us so many things. Though it was
Really has.
trying times, it has taught us to adapt to situations.
That's
So,
right.
so your meeting, is it like 30 minutes a week? Is it an hour a week? How long
It's
are
an
we meeting
hour.
a week?
It's
Okay.
an hour because we got work to do. We got stuff to get
We
done.
got- right. We got work to do. Absolutely. Okay. So let me ask you, right? So we're meeting an hour a week. Is there homework? Because I know
There is
sometimes
homework.
there is
There's
homework.
definitely homework.
Okay. Can you
It's
give us,
definitely homework.
without giving too much away, can you give us an example of some type of homework?
There might be some tasks that I require the person to do depending on what it is, what their goals are specifically. But
Okay.
again, like I said, it also depends on the environment that they're in and the role that they're in. So that would determine what kind of homework it looks like.
Okay.
But there definitely be like personal tasks for that person to do, especially if there's a development of confidence that needs to take place.
Yeah.
So we'll start off small with just making sure that um, we're activating, that we're pushing through the things that are hindering us or stopping us from moving forward in our careers.
Okay. I like it. I like
Mhm.
it. So
Mhm.
are you a reader?
Am I a reader?
Yes.
A reader? Do I read? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So like,
Absolutely.
we read, but like personal, like self-help books,
Oh
like stuff
yeah.
like that.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
are there
Yeah, I
are
love
there
it all.
are there any books that you would recommend someone who is trying to advance in their career? Like, is there any books that you recommend, like, a
Let's
person read?
recommend to advance. Let's see. I don't know necessarily. Okay,
Or just
so
in
there
general, not even just to advance their career, but like, what are some of your favorite books that have kind of helped you through this process, through this transition?
I would say definitely Minda Hart's The Memo. That book is something. It is
Man,
something else.
I'm gonna.
And I'll say it's something else because it is basically it was my experience, professionally, the things that I had to go through. Like I mentioned, I'm the first to do a lot of things in my family. And so, like, I had support, of family as far as love and, being there. But there were a lot of things that they could not help me through because they hadn't gone through it themselves. You know what I mean? Being the only person of color on teams that were leadership teams, or just, sitting at a table, being the only person of color, but also a woman and also one of the youngest. That was a hard place to be in, in itself. And so a lot of those things I had to learn just, trial and error. And that book, I would say, definitely just kind of spoke to, ways to kind of combat or overcome some of those issues. So that's a powerful book.
Okay, so that's Mend the Heart's Memo.
The Memo. Yep.
Okay.
Memo. Yep.
Okay, got it. All right, so I'm gonna look that up. I would love to read that and add that to my collection. So tell us about your background. You went to college. Tell us a little bit about that. What's your degree in? Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about
So my background is my undergrad degree is in business administration with a minor in human resources.
it. Okay.
I also have a master's degree in human resource management, and so um, my background. I mean, I've done a little bit of everything, which is actually nice, so I can kind of speak to a lot of things. So I've been a human resource professional, specifically working with talent, recruitment, and retention. I've worked in the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion, trying to diversify workforces. And I'll just speak to the fact that I'm in upstate New York. So, it's not like DMV, it's not like Atlanta where you're going to work, you may have those diverse spaces. It is very likely that at times you will be the only person of color in the room. There, it is becoming more diverse, but yeah, that's where that is. Um, and I've worked as an educator as well. I'm actually back to teaching at a STEM college, and I teach professional leadership competencies for those who are getting ready to exit college and move on to the next phase.
I love it. So with that, right? So let's say you have a high school, not a high school. Let's say you have a college graduate. Okay,
Mhm.
they are they have their degree. Let's say their degree is in, I don't know, sociology. Let's say their degree, they got a social work degree. Okay. Um, what are like how would you advise, right, this avatar as they continue um in this in their career?
Right.
Theology.
So it really does depend on that person and that their experience and what they want to do. I actually have a lot of social work friends, and
Okay.
so if I could connect them with a resource as a way to kind of discuss that field in particular, that would be some of the things that I may do as far as homework. But what I would advise is for them to do the same thing. If they have a degree in social work, what do they really want to do? Do they want to be in the field? They want to be going to different doors? Are they talking about social work within education? Are they talking about social work within healthcare? Like what the social work is such a big, broad field. You can
Right.
really do a number of things. And so what kind of social work are you looking to do? Like what kind of impact you're looking to create? Are you looking to create impact? Like what is it that's driving your reasons for wanting to be in this field?
Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. I like the fact that it's not cookie cutter and it's
Right.
literally based because I think a lot of what makes doing coaching successful is that you're able to tailor it towards what a person's individual needs are. Now
That's
there
right.
are certain bases that everyone needs, but
Yes.
as you advance, you're going to need more specific things that are catered more towards you and what it is that you do. So do you help with like resume writing? Do you help with curriculum vitae, like applying for the job, like cover letters?
Yes.
You do all of that too?
So I don't have a standalone resume package, but it is a part of the coaching packages. So if they're like if so for instance, we have a Bright Futures coaching package. That is a part of that. The resume review is a part of that particular package, especially if they're looking to, apply for a promotional opportunity or either go for just a different position in general. That is a part of that process. And I have written and reviewed thousands of resumes. So
Okay.
yes, that is a
So,
part of
so,
it.
so let's talk about it, right? How long should a resume be? Because when I well, I'm gonna let you answer the question, and I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. How long should a resume be? Is there a proper length for a resume? How long should a resume be?
So resumes, okay. I would say the majority recruiters probably would say, and this is me just based off my experience, would say probably no more than 2 pages. No more than 2 pages. Because literally you have a few seconds to showcase your talent, to tell me why you have the experience and that you're a good fit for the position. It's not gonna take me that long. So you come with it. Like it's not gonna
Now,
take me long at all.
okay, so 2 pages, y'all. Don't send me no more resumes that are 8
No,
pages long. Who
no,
got
especially
time to
depending on the position. Like position does. I have to say that the position does. It does.
the length of the resume?
Yes, it depends on the position that you're applying for. That does matter. But yeah, no more than 2 pages, please.
Okay, so you said the position does matter, right? Okay, so let me ask you this before I go, because I got a whole list of questions for this, right? Because this would be frustrating me so bad. I'll be like, yo, why are y'all doing this? How far back in employment experience should you go on a resume?
So 10 years. That's enough.
Please stop it right here. 10. Yeah, I don't want to see what you did back in 2009 when you was working
Please,
at Sears.
please.
You're not even here no more.
Exactly. And you know what? Someone's argument may be that, but you know what? 12 years ago, I have some experience that's directly related to that role. And listen, if you do, you can find a way to input that and you can work with a resume writer to do that. But let's try to stick it to 10 years.
Let's
Because 10, after that, I mean, come on. We should have had, we've evolved, we've grown, we've learned new things. So, yeah.
does it look bad to does it look bad on a resume if you don't stick with places like if every 3 years you're changing jobs?
No, I'm not one of those recruiters. Like, I
Okay.
feel like there are folks that, they stay at places for many years, right? There's pros and cons to that.
Right.
And there are people who leave after a couple years, and there's pros and cons to that, right? But really, I'm looking for is what you have the experience, in doing and how directly related to the position that you're applying for. But also, I also look at, when I bring the person in, what else do you have to offer? Like how interested are you in this position? So, and what it is that you can, offer the organization. I know that some people, feel differently, but I mean, like I said, there's pros and cons to each.
I agree. I definitely
Mhm.
agree with you. So one of the things that you coached on that you talked about was people advocating for themselves, right? Let's say it's been 3 years and I have not gotten a raise. How do I ask for a raise? And how often should I be asking for a raise? Is there a time frame on that? What's up with that?
I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a time frame, but what I will say is that you need to know your accomplishments, right? You need to be keeping a running list of all the things that you have accomplished in this role
Keep them
because you never
receipts.
know. Managers, they have other people that they're managed. Supervisors, they have other people that they supervise. But like they're not gonna always have that in their book of records either. And they may, and they you can't expect them to advocate for you or to say something for you. If you have those top tier supervisors, yes, they will. But not everybody's doing that. Some people are just they're just trying to stay alive at work, depending on how stressful or how their workload looks. But you need to keep receipts for yourself and say, okay, this is what I did here, this is what I did here. And you need to be able to present that in a way that will get you some money, get the
Right.
bag. Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the so okay, so that's the resume, okay?
Yes.
Um I recently, I'm 34 years old. I recently learned about a curriculum vitae.
Yes.
This is like, how is it important to begin a curriculum? Because I'm kicking myself now, like, why didn't I start this when I was like 18 years old and then just keep adding to it? But I didn't even know what a CV was.
So, like with curricular varieties, that it really depends on the field that you're going into. So, like if you're applying for a professor, ship at a university, you definitely want to have a curriculum vitae. So, it just really depends on the position that you're applying for and in what area or field that you're in. You wouldn't necessarily do that if you're applying for, let's say, um, maybe a manager and doing compliance. You don't need that necessarily. You know what I mean?
Okay. So cover letters. Cover letters are optional.
Optional means do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because think about it, like
So,
you're not submitting one, but the other person is. So they're taking another opportunity to say, this is why I'm the right fit. This is
mhm.
why I shine. This is why I'm the right person for your position. So meanwhile, you're like, nah, here's my resume. You figure it out. No, no. Like if
Okay.
this is something that you really want, you definitely want to submit a cover letter. They are
Okay.
they are important. I will say that hiring managers, I have had or heard a split down. So like some hiring managers, they don't like them, but some hiring managers, they need them. They want them. They want to see how you write. They want to see how you articulate your value. And so it just depends. So I would say if it says optional, that means do
Okay. Okay.
it.
Gotta get that cover letter. So with resumes and cover letters, right? There's tons of templates out there. Some of them They have like the picture on them. Some
No,
of them don't. No, don't do the one with the picture.
no, we don't want pictures. You don't need to do that. No. For what? If they ask for it, yeah, but no.
Okay, so all right, so because so in Microsoft Word, they got a whole template with like a picture on it with the guy like this, and I
Yes,
can
no.
take a picture like this, so I
I
could.
would say if you're going for a modeling position, then yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Just, you don't need that. You don't want any unconscious bias happening before you even walk in the room, right? And some of us are unfortunate. Unfortunately, we have no choice for the employer to necessarily, as it relates to unconscious bias, because some of our names are telling right before we even get to the door, right? And so, like Shatoya, what's the first thing you thinking, right? And so, what is that? I had a supervisor or a leader, and this is a crazy story, but I'm telling you, this is how people think. Someone told me, I almost didn't call you because I couldn't figure out how to say your name. Ma'am, what? How about we talk about my qualifications and experiences, right? Like,
well,
what do you mean? Yeah, because I couldn't figure it out. No.
you could also
So,
ask me too.
huh?
You could also ask me how to say my
Right.
name. Like that.
That's right.
That never crossed
Right.
your mind.
Right. And so it's like, this is the thing that we're thinking of. So like, to add the picture is just another layer of, we don't need that.
Okay.
We don't need that.
So don't do it with the picture. So I need to go back and take. I'm gonna go back and take my picture off. Honestly,
Yes.
I
And
didn't.
I
I didn't
know
need to
that
do that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know that many people may say, but they can go look you up on LinkedIn. That is very true. And
Okay.
that's exactly why you need to have a professional picture on LinkedIn. Yes, that is another thing that they can kind of like take a look at. But to add it to your cover letter down.
Okay. So in your
Mm-mm.
package, do you also help them build out their LinkedIn profile? Because that's something that's super important nowadays as well.
It is. And so like so I won't help them build it out, but I will give them some tips, right? That's not my area of expertise. I really don't even love LinkedIn like that. I mean, mine's looks good, but it's not my favorite thing. I think LinkedIn is it's supposed to be a professional platform for kind of like Instagram, but professional on a professional level. But like, there's some things that I don't love about it. So I will just put it
All of the
out there like that.
marketers, all of the emails
It's
that
all the things.
hey, are you looking for it? I'm like, dude, no. Like, I'm not. If I
Exactly.
was looking for it, I'd be on here looking for it, and I would find you
Yes.
if you excel at what it is that you're doing. So no,
Right.
I'm not trying to get more coaching clients, and no, I'm not trying to do that. I
Right.
let
Exactly.
me help you learn to reach out to people because this ain't it.
Exactly. Exactly. So I would say definitely you want to keep it clean on LinkedIn, but yeah. So I
Okay,
will do some review as it relates to like making sure that it's up to par.
okay.
Yeah.
So what? So with this world of social media, what's the world of professionalism? How do we? Is it okay? You want to be a professional, but on your spare time, you also want to, not
Live.
let your hair down a little bit. Like, should
Yeah.
we be conscious of the things that we're posting? Should we keep a private account? Should we
Hmm.
how can we navigate who
Yeah.
that we are, you know, but also keep our professional selves?
Ooh, that is such a great question in such a heavy debate right now, and I think it will continue to be. There are You really do have to be careful what you put out there, right? So once you put it on the internet, it is what it is. And so um, like, you can have your private page, but still people find things. If you don't mind that an organization is deciding that, hey, your mission and values for yourself and personal life does not align with what we are trying to do. If you're okay with an employer saying that, then I say by all means do what you got to do. But if you are missing out on opportunities, and I just saw a story like that just this past week. One A young woman, she lost out on an amazing opportunity because that organization saw her, I guess, Instagram page, her social medias, and they were just like, no, this is not the person that is going to be, or we want to work for our organization. The vision, the values, they don't align. And so I would say definitely be cautious. But if they speak to who you are, and this is something that you are not trying to hide, I would say do you. And if the organization, if they're, you know, if they are okay with that, they're accepting of all things and all people, then and that's what you're looking for, then I would say it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely you want to be cautious. People are losing out on opportunities for things that they've posted, and that will still continue to go on. I don't see that stopping. Um, so, and I'll just give myself as an example. So I'm a believer, right? I believe in God. That's just who I am. I was raised that way. And if that organization decides, hey, I don't want to go with her because she's heavily Christian or whatever the case may be, whatever they decide to say, that's okay with me, right? Because if I can't believe in what I want to believe in at that organization, I don't want to work for you.
Yeah, it's not gonna be comfortable for you working there anyway. Like
Exactly.
that's gonna create a bad environment if
Right.
you
It's
can't
not a
be
good place
yourself.
for me. It's not a good
Yeah.
fit for me. Right.
Yeah,
So,
I remember I was working at a place and I would like I like listening to my music and I like
yes.
like I like to be happy. Like I like to,
Yeah.
I read Michael Strahan's book Wake Up Happy, and he said, man, when you go into the office, you're supposed to say hi, you're supposed to speak to everybody, you're
Yes.
supposed to, hey, what's up? You doing? You good? Everything. And people that made people uncomfortable.
It's true.
Like
I
that made
know.
people uncomfortable. And they're like, and I would get like emails from HR saying, hey Jeff, you got to stop walking in the hallways and singing and stuff like that and greeting people. Not everybody wants to do that. What? Like
I've
that?
heard the same thing. I literally heard the same thing. There was a presentation done, and that person was like, you know, how it's just like walking into someone's home and not greeting them, like not saying hello. It's like, why would you? But honestly, there are people who have different thoughts about that. I am a greeter. I'm a person that if I'm walking into a room and I see people, I'm saying good morning. I'm saying hello. I'm acknowledging you. However,
Mama
there
ain't
was this
raised no fool, no hoodlum. Okay.
exactly, like there was someone that had a disagreement with that. They were like, sometimes I don't feel like it. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of things we don't feel like doing.
I know, but like, does to me, right? Like, so as a trainer in that, one of the things that I train on is how to create a winning culture. And in creating a winning culture, a part of that is you you got to leave whatever stuff
That's right.
outside, right? Like
Yes.
that's that. I don't. When you come in here, particularly, I coach and I train educators, right? How to create a winning culture because we need y'all. Even on your worst days, we can't know that you have it. These kids can't know that you having a worse day.
That's right.
These
That's
kids
right.
can't know that you're going through a divorce. You gotta let. I don't care what you gotta do. You gotta sit in your car, turn on "I'm a Survivor"
Right.
by Destiny's Child, and I'm a survivor, and pump yourself
Yes.
up. I don't know what you gotta do, but you got
Yes.
to leave that outside. So talk about. Can you talk to the point of how particular attitudes can affect a whole organization?
It is so true. It is so true, especially if you're working with team dynamics that may not be that have a little bit of stress. But still, realizing that everybody has their thing, right? I think that like where I am, our governor is really big on mental health, right? Making sure people have what they need, which is amazing. Because at the we're whole people coming to work, right? And
Yeah,
as much as we want to leave things at the door, sometimes we may not have enough time to take the time and move to the side, and some people are just not good at separating. So I totally agree with leaving your stuff at the door, and that everybody don't need to know your business. But there are some people that really do struggle with that, and so what are employers doing to help the employees kind of navigate these things that they're going through, because we are people, right? And
yeah.
so that's I love people-centered employers, when they focus on, the well-being of their people, because if their people are well, then they're performing well, right? The productivity is going up, and business goals can be reached in that. So,
Mhm. So with that being said, uh, one of my values, my high values in a place that I worked for is appreciation.
mm,
Can you talk about how important, or if it's important, because I don't want to project my values.
yeah.
Is appreciation important And what are some effective ways that leaders can show appreciation for employees other than just money? We know, give me a raise. We know, don't show me that you appreciate me with thank you, show me and give me a raise. We know that, right? But that's
Right.
too easy. What are some other, is appreciation important? And what are some ways that leaders can show appreciation for the people that they're leading?
Absolutely. I think just creating a culture where it shows that the people matter, right? And so, one of the organizations that I worked for, we ended up implementing a wellness room. Like I mentioned, people go through things and they sometimes they need a
Wellness.
moment. And so that wellness room, it includes, just kind of like different resources on the wall for support, right? Maybe you're going through crisis, maybe you need support with family or whatever at home, but also just a moment to kind of take a break. I think an employer doing something like that, it is amazing. It shows that, okay, hey, you matter, I know you matter, and look at this is one of the things that we have here for you. But also telling employees, like some supervisors, some leaders, they don't speak, they don't tell employees like how they're doing, right? And I say in that case, for the employee's perspective, you need to ask, how am I doing? It's been about 90 days. According to what I'm thinking that the expectations are, the expectations that you've communicated, I think this is what I'm doing. But what is your perspective on how I'm doing? Because my perspective and yours might be completely different. So that open dialogue, employers can create that open dialogue, leaders can create that open dialogue as well. But also, give me a work from home day, that never hurts. A day off, that never hurts.
You know?
Don't give me a pizza party. I'm all set with that. I can buy my own pizza.
Buy my own pizza. I don't want no more of that. I don't want no
I'm good on the
karaoke
pizza.
night and stuff like that. I don't want no more of that. Yeah, absolutely. I love
Yes.
it. So
Mhm.
so as we begin to wrap up, so talk to me, how important is self-care, personal self-care to keep up your professional performance?
It is so important. Oh my gosh. I'm actually going to be going live next week with regards to mental health out in the workplace, with one of my social work friends. And she's going to speak to that. But I'll just have to say, if you need a day, you need to take a day, because you're not doing anybody any service by showing up to work and you're not well. Right? Take that mental health day. If you don't have a lot of time, talk to your supervisor about what you can do. Like, you are important, right? What happens if you're not well enough that you can't, you're out of work for a long time, right? Like if we see something that's going on with ourselves or with our coworkers, we need to start to address it immediately, and not wait till the last minute. And I think we all struggle with that, because we've been, especially my generation, like we've been taught to kind of, stick it out, push through, right? Sometimes that pushing through leads to me being even more sick than I needed to be, right? If I just took that day to myself to just work on, just having a moment, now I'm burnt out for no reason, right? And so it's so important to take care of yourself, if you need a moment, and if to seek out the supports that you need. So
I 100% agree with you. Self-care, self-love cannot be a second thought. So tell the
absolutely.
people, how do they get in contact with you? How do they get your services?
Yes.
Where can they go? Like what do we need to do in order to get our coaching that we need?
Absolutely. So you're going to go to www.igrowlab.co. You can also reach out to me on Instagram, and that's at igrowlab. And you can DM me directly, or just, email me at welcome@igrowlab.co. So I would love to connect with you and help you, on your career journey.
Listen, make sure y'all go out and reach out. Listen, we need to make sure that we have clarity and we have some sort of coaching and we have some sort of
Yes.
advice as we continue to move through our careers. Um, do you have, and I think I should have asked this, do you help with like retirement planning and stuff like that for people as well?
I don't help with retirement planning. That is not something that's my area of
Okay.
expertise, but I can get you started. Yes.
Okay, can get you started and at least connect you to some resources, right?
Absolutely.
For sure. I
Absolutely.
love the brand consistency with
Yes.
iGrow Lab, right? Like make it easy for people to
Yeah.
find you, right? Like, let's
Yes.
like don't be iGrow Lab and then I grow Lab like here or
Yes.
IG grow like it's
Right.
so listen, y'all know how to find her. We're gonna make sure that
Yes.
we put it in here. It's gonna be in the comments. If you listening,
Yes.
it's gonna be in the description. So make sure that y'all go and get whatever it is that you need as you continue to excel and elevate in your career, right? One of the things that I work on promoting is that I know everyone's not an entrepreneur. Not everyone wants
That's
to
right.
be an entrepreneur, right?
That's right.
You can grow and you can still have a very successful life as you advance through your career. And
That's
having a
right.
career coach, having a career strategist is literally going to put you ahead of
That's
multiple
right.
people because you not only have yourself working for you, you got somebody that's also helping you and working for you and with you on the back end. So if you
Yes.
want that, you need that. You want to get in your bag, she's gonna help you get in your bag so you ain't got to
Let's
chase it.
get this money.
All right. You ain't gonna have to
That's
chase
right.
the bag. She's really gonna help you get in your bag. All right, y'all. Y'all know my motto here, man. Always stay in your bag so you never gotta chase the bag. And winners write history, losers become a part of the story. This is a part of writing your history and not becoming a
That's
part of
right.
the story. Until next time, thank y'all.
Peace. Thank you.